Welcome everyone. It seems like they change everything as soon as you think you've got it, and then they change some settings. So anyway, hey Barbie, who do we got out there? We got Susan, Rita. Thanks for joining. Sorry about the delay. Just trying to get all the equipment. It seems like from week to week they change stuff. So anyway, I am back on YouTube and Facebook. It looks like we're going. So somebody comment on Facebook so I can see your comments. Okay, but I think everything is good to go. So I didn't really have too much planned for tonight. I just wanted to stop in and say hi. I wanted to show you some of the workshops coming up in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and just talk about. There still seems to be some confusion on the decals. I think people, the water slide decals, I think people think it's hard to do. It's not. It really makes the decorating pretty easy to do. So if you're on Facebook, be sure and let me know that you're out there. I can see comments on YouTube, and I'll try to answer anything that you guys put up there. I'm trying to get my screens where I can see both of them at the same time. So if anybody wants to comment on Facebook and let me know that you're out there and you can see me. Hey Marie, hey Angela. I'm seeing those comments. I'm just not seeing any over on Facebook. Okay, so we have Waukesha coming up, and that is in August. And I'm going to get the exact dates because August 14, 15, and 16. Okay, I want to show you, it's the Fire Arts Expo. These are the pieces that I'm going to be teaching up there. I have 6 different pieces this time. And I've got some of those pieces here live to show you also. So there's different decorating techniques, and a lot of these are because you guys have requested them. You've got the dancing daisies. You'll do one piece, a mug or a plate, and of course, it all depends on what pieces are available. So if you have a preference, you can, once you sign up, once that Fire Arts Expo website goes live, then you can so once the expo's website goes live, okay, and you can sign up for classes, you'll sign up for either earthenware, okay, your 0406, or you can sign up for stoneware, with the exception of one piece, and that is the hummingbird, because I'm going to do that on soft fired greenware earthenware, to show you how to work on that. And those are pieces that I'm casting myself. And I'm going to cast a bunch of tiles and things to make it a little bit easier for those traveling, so that they've got flat pieces, especially like for the underglaze decals, those kind of things. So, hey Cheryl, Bobby, who else do we got? Chantel, Angela, awesome. I still don't see any comments on Facebook. I'm not sure why. I'm afraid to refresh it because I don't want to mess up the video. So I'll just have to keep watching. Okay, so let's look at that flyer again real quick. So here are the classes that I'm giving, and the descriptions and everything, not all the photos are there, but they are up on the website on the firedartsexpo.com. And I think here's the link. So here's what it kind of looks like when you look at it. Okay. So that is this year's classes. You commented on Facebook, Teresa said, and others. Wonder why I can't see that. Let me refresh the comments. Maybe that will. Something went wrong, it said. Oh, okay. I got it now. Yay. Okay, I see them. It just didn't want to give it to me. Okay, so I got Christine, Susan, Teresa, Cindy Lay, Patty, and Lynn. So a whole bunch of people. Okay. I put a poll on there. Do you see the poll on Facebook? I can't do that on YouTube. But do you see it on Facebook at all? I'm just curious. There's some new settings and things that I was trying. So I was trying to ask, basically, do you want to see, because not everybody does ceramics and glass. So do you want to see more glass, more ceramics? You want me to keep alternating each week? And then I also throw in some brushstroke ones every now and then too. Hey, Carolyn. So put that on there for me. I'll go back and look at it, but there should be a poll somewhere out there. So hopefully there is. There also is on YouTube and on Facebook, there's stars that you, if you like what I'm doing and you want to give stars, you can do that. That allows me to keep doing free content for you. And I try to do, every week if I can, if life doesn't get in the way, which has been a little crazy here lately. So anyway, okay. So I'm going to turn the camera down and show you some pieces. And so this is just a bigger flyer of the dancing daisies. These are the projects that I'm doing at the show. The big bold butterfly, the hummingbird, the bee kind, the honeycomb and sunflower. We are going to do a water slide decal piece, which is like this. It's going to be just on a square canvas. So you're going to learn how to transfer a decal pattern to the ware. We're going to paint it. We're going to glaze it. You take it home and fire it. And then you come back and add the line art, which is the decal. And you don't have to do all that detailing by yourself. And then the other project is I'm going to teach you how to paint on top of a an underglaze transfer. So I've got I've got butterflies, I've got the hydrangeas, different ones. So like here's one that I started. This has a hydrangea underglaze transfer, and I started painting it on one of the lives. So there'll be varied pieces, different sizes, different things that you can do. But isn't that cool? You don't have to worry about outlining. That's all done with the decal, which is pretty awesome. So you'll learn how to do that. You don't see it, Lynn said. You don't see what? I guess on Facebook, are you not seeing me? It shows me live. It shows some people out there. So Lynn, Susan, tell me what you're not seeing, okay? I'm not sure what you're asking. Okay, so here is that bold butterfly. And oh, this is just gorgeous. This is a oversized Duncan piece of 04 bisque, but isn't that huge? I mean, look at that. It's the size, bigger than the palm of my hand. Is that crazy? So there's stoneware mugs. They're slightly smaller, but the butterfly will still fit on there. So learn how to do this. This is a new background, and you'll be amazed at what I use for this. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You would love to see more using the decals and painting on ceramic. Okay, yeah, we'll do some smaller pieces. And I've got a couple of videos taped of the ones that I did. Let me show you the plate on that real quick. So I can show you all these pieces and get rid of them. So here's the square plate, and this is what I'm going to try to do it on, or you can do the mug. This is earthenware, and that mug was earthenware. This is the stoneware version. So not much difference in the coloring, other than if you'll notice in the background, the pinks, that does tend to burn away on the stoneware, where we've got some of the pinks and blues in here. So we just need to go heavier with them on the stoneware, meaning a darker application of those. Okay, so as far as Facebook, Lynn, I'm not sure what you're asking me there. So if you'll clarify that. So here is the hummingbird. This piece we're going to do on an 8x8 tile. It's going to be earthenware, and it's going to be fired to 010. Anytime you're going to a class or taking a class and they ask for greenware, or if I'm teaching a class that I'd rather do on greenware because the product absorbs better, you get brighter colors, I like to do 010. I was taught that by David Hoff probably 25 years ago. It transports easier as far as breakage and stuff. Now, if you're flying from overseas or something to take these classes, because we do have some gals coming in from England, let me know, and if you're taking this class, and I will go ahead and put this in 04 bisque for you, so that you don't have to try to transport something that's kind of greenware, but not exactly. 010 is just it turns the clay body white, whatever you cast with, and then it allows, like I said, the absorption of the color concentrates much better. I don't know if my comments are still stuck on Facebook. Nope. Okay. All right. So that's a fun piece. You learn how to layer color, blend, get the little wings, how to shade, watercolor background. There's a lot of different techniques. So if you've not taken a class with me, don't be intimidated by the bird. It's really pretty easy. And if you're coming to any of the classes, I want you to bring your brushes with you. I will have brushes, but as most of you know, your brushes are going to be in better condition because mine have been used over the past 35 years um, by different students. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, do we have any other questions? Okay, so I was going to do one of these pieces at the expo, but I decided not to because they're really just two. So this is the Highland Cow, a couple of different versions. I was testing, doing different things. They're okay. I'm not, this one's all right. I'm not happy with them, so that's why I decided not to do them. Um, you couldn't get it on Facebook to play. It shows it's live, Stacy. I can't get the comments. I haven't seen any updates on the comments, but it does show it's still live. Let me double check my settings here just to make sure. Let's double check that. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing both of them going. It shows me live on my feed, so I'm not sure. So anyway, I'll probably turn these into patterns. So keep that in mind if that's something you like. And you guys went crazy over this piece. I was really shocked. It's an okay piece. Yeah, I was doodling one night and I was like, I love purple. Purple's one of my favorite colors. So if you'd like to see this in a pattern pack, let me know and I will turn that into it. I'll have to paint another one. Okay. You love them, but you're not a cowgirl. Okay. Right. I mean, they're okay. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a fad. You know, you have to be into it or you're not. Now, those of you that are ClayShare members, tomorrow night on ClayShare, if you're not a ClayShare member, you need to go check it out. Okay. I got two of these because I was having kiln issues so we are actually going to do this on ClayShare live at 5. You don't have to be a ClayShare member, but it will be on Jessica Putman Phillips YouTube channel or on ClayShare if you want to watch it there. This is a free project. Tomorrow the pattern will go up and I'm going to teach you brush strokes, teach you some leaves, two different, the wedge stroke, the M stroke, do some shading, and then show you how to do those berries and outline. We do have a watercolor background, and then kind of just to get that faded, almost like the blue jars, the blue ball jars is kind of what I was going for on this. So it's a fun project. Come and join me. We are going to get this done in an hour, believe it or not. Tomorrow night, it would be 5 o'clock Eastern time, right? Yeah, Eastern. So 4 o'clock Central if you're my Central people. Okay. So here is that Dancing Daisies. Isn't that cool? I just love this. And Stacy, you don't have to use a brush to outline. How's that? So let's see. We have a question. Glass question. I recently used the G series on glass and noticed that some of the colors are coming out matte versus those that seem to be blended into the glass shiny. So your YouTube handle is Peace Love Glass. Tell me what temperature, as long as you're going to 1380, it should be glossy. It should be glossy. Okay, so here's a glass piece. This is reverse painting, but the only reason it would be matte is if it's not hot enough and you would need to go hotter. But message me on Facebook with a picture. Let me see it and let's talk about it to make sure you understand or make sure I understand. Okay, Barbie, you're going to be at Wisconsin? Is that what you're telling me? That would be awesome to meet some new people. Other ones. These are just some decals that I did on the live. So just showing you different ways. You don't have to do a lot. If you put on a colored glaze and you decide you want to put a decal on it, okay, these have got glazes underneath. You put the decal on it and fire it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to paint. You can just use the line art as it is. So don't, oh, ClayShare. Okay, tomorrow night. Got it. You love the Dancing Daisies, Teresa says. $14.75. Get with me tonight or tomorrow. Just message me and let's talk. And you can even call the office tomorrow and we can discuss it and let's see what you're doing and what might be happening for you. That is very strange. Now, I would say that, well, no, because you said G series. The GS, the sparkles, sometimes you have to go hotter for those to be shiny. There could be some texture to that. Hey, Curtis, you're glad to see that I'm live. Yeah, well, sometimes they mess up these systems. Just it amazes me. Stacy says I'm too spunny. I'm using the squeeze bottle and brushes today. Okay, you should be proud. I am proud of you. Very good. Well, we're going to use a squeeze bottle to outline these. And Teresa says glass and color concentrates. That's what you want to see more of, Teresa? Is that correct? What does it mean to reverse paint? Okay, so we got a couple questions out there. Let me finish these and then I'll go over the reverse, okay? So this is ceramic, of course, spoon rest. So I took my decal, created a pattern, and I will put up a video of this. Put it onto my piece, painted it, glazed it, fired it, and then you come back and apply the decal. And even this is pretty recessed in here. This is about 1.25 inches deep. So for it to go down in here, I did have to cut it like a little dart, but you can't even see it, and it worked out just fine. Worked out just fine. So Teresa, is that what you're asking me, is to do more color concentrates? No, she says. Okay. Spell out what you want. Okay, now I'm going to show you what happened because I did this one on the live, and look here. I got one. This was a piece in the bisque. It was a flaw, so I expected that. But I had 2 little tiny white spaces here, and that was because I didn't get all the air out from underneath. I didn't squeegee it out enough. Okay, so beware of that. I mean, I could maybe touch that up with some enamels, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's a teaching tool for you guys, so you understand that you need to definitely go back and I did I think 6 pieces live. Thank you, Curtis. So you like that butterfly? Isn't that cool? It's huge. See that? It's like as big as my finger span. It's gigantic, but it's pretty cool. I mean, yes, but no. I was just wondering on one person. Oh, because of the glossy and matte. But she said she used the G series. So Peace Love Glass, if you're using the color concentrates, they will be a matte finish. But if you're using G series, they should be glossy, as low as 1380 with a 10-minute hold. So this is another one that's just got the outline. We painted underneath, and then we came back and applied the decal during the live a couple of weeks ago. So that's kind of cool. All right. So, and I know I'm going back and forth here, but she asked about reverse painting. So this is the line art here. Can you see how you kind of have depth to it? The color itself is below. It's like you've got the line art on the top, and then the color is on, the back side of it. Okay. So I actually have a piece here. Hold on, and I will get it because I haven't finished it. I started this on a live. So when you're doing the water slide decals on glass, you see the decal? It's got that whole thing there. So you're putting it on the top surface. You put it in the water. You can go back and watch those videos. And then you put it onto your glass. Let this dry about an hour. And then you flip it over. This is why it's called reverse painting, because you are on the back side, and all I'm doing is filling in. Can you see? Let's put it down on this. It'll be easier. You're filling in the color from the back side, and then when it fires, it's going to look similar to this. Okay, so it's just the line art, and then you're doing the color. And it could just be, you could put solid green. You don't have to do blending, solid on your petals. Pretty simple. Okay, so Peace Love Glass says, nope, they are the G series, and it only seemed to be one color. Okay, email me the color, the number in the name, and even put the lot number off of your jar if you don't mind. when you either email me or message me on Facebook, either one. So this is reverse painting, just because you've got your line art on the top and you flip it over. Now you don't have to use decals to reverse paint. There's other reasons why you would do it. I'm not going to go into all that tonight, but that just gives you kind of a little bit of a, that's how it's done. But you can't do this with ceramic. You can't do the reverse painting, but this is the same decal, Angela, same decal. So let's move this, because this is where I think people are getting confused. I'm going to move these off and out of the way. Okay, so for instance, let's see if I can find the decal. I've got some different ones here. So let's pretend, here's this is bigger than this one. We have it in 6 and 8 inch size. So here's your decal. I've put it on. So I soaked this in water. I put it on the glass. Then I flip the glass over, over to do my decorating. If I'm going to do this on the ceramic, what I do is get me a piece of tissue paper. And if this is what I'm going to paint, okay, I'm going to lay my tissue paper over my decal, and I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm going to trace the outline. You don't, well, you might need the center vein on the leaves, okay? So now you've got this outline. So you don't need the little curlicues because you're not painting those. Those are just the outline itself, okay? And if you're commenting, I'll look at the comments in just a second. I want to get this on here so you understand. Okay, so you basically trace that, okay, so you have a pattern, and then I'm going to show you what happens. So here is my decal of these chicks, right? So I've put tissue over it, and I traced it with a pencil, and then here's my ceramic piece. I'm going to take that tissue and lay it on the ceramics, and I'm going to take either my watercolor marker, or depending on the wear, you can do the ultrafine Sharpie marker. And then you're going to go over that, and I'll just make a mark up here so you can see it, so that it appears onto the wear. Now I can paint this. After I paint it, I'm going to glaze it, as long as I stay inside my lines, okay, because this is going to be my outline. Like this is here, the outline of this. So I have to stay inside my lines, because after I paint it, I'm going to clear glaze it. I'm going to fire that. This happens to be earthenware, so I'm going to fire it to 06. And then I can say, okay, I'm going to put my decals. So I'm going to line it up with my painted things. I'm going to soak it, take it off, line it up. And that's what I did here. And I lined it up as close as possible. So you try to make sure you paint exactly the size that you've traced on, okay? That's why you need to be pretty careful with that. I still see no comments from the very beginning on Facebook, guys. I'm sorry if you're putting questions. I'm going to refresh it, but it's still not. Oh, wait a minute. I just saw some. Okay, so Susan says, so you paint it on clear, then full fuse it on colored glass. Okay, so Susan, no, it's all in one step. So yes, you paint it on clear. You put the decal, turn it over, paint it, and then I sift clear powdered frit on my base glass, whether it's white, ivory, whatever you got. I like white most of the time. Like this one was white, okay? And then I'm going to put this in the kiln. I'm going to full fuse it. Decal side up. You cannot trap that decal. You've got to let those binders burn off, Susan. Okay, so this is all one fire. And then all you have to do is shape it, slump it. Okay? So let's go back here. Hey, Amy. Anyone in the Nashville area makes stoneware with her? Okay, so Susan, you're asking about stoneware with the decals. The problem with that, okay, let me go back over here. So the problem with stoneware and the decals, you would have to know your shrinkage rate. Now, if it's colored decal, you don't have to worry about it. You can just do it, right? But if you're going to try to paint and use the decals and outline, then what you're going to have to do is, if your clay shrinks 12%, 13, 14%, you're going to have to enlarge, like take the decal over to your printer and you would have to enlarge it, that percentage, because when you paint it, it's going to shrink. And now you've got this outline that's further out. It's like putting my head is here, this is my flower. Your outline's going to be further out. Okay, it's not going to be the same because that stoneware or porcelain shrinks. So and I could come up with a percentage for you, but every clay body is different. So you've got to know what that is as far as that. So I would stick to the colored decals unless you're going to only use a certain kind of clay and you want to figure out what that percentage is. Okay. All right, let me look. Cindy says she loves the butterfly. Thanks, Steve. Hey there. All right, so there was another question on Facebook. Can you do it step by step like you did the chickens? Okay, so out on Facebook in my private glass group, I have basically a flyer that steps it out, and I will. That's a great idea, Teresa. Thank you. I will go back and do snapshots of the painting and everything, and I'll put it like, here's your cheat sheet, so to speak, on how to do it on ceramics. So I will get that done in the next day or so. Okay. Hopefully that answers all the questions. I'm looking at questions. That's why you keep thinking the decals were only for glass. No, yeah, they're not. No. And then that's a nice thing. We don't have to do anything different when we make them. They can work on glass, they can work on ceramic. So if you're on ceramic, they're going to be fired to an 012 or slightly hot. They can go hotter. I haven't done, Melanie that makes them has tested. I have not done any tests myself, but they will go hotter. So bear with me. Then as far as your glass, it's a full fuse. Now, Teresa Berger that's on here, she did something the other day. She said, well, I want to set my, set the decal basically in the color. So she did one sheet. So let me go back to the overhead camera. So she had the decals of her chickens on the top. She flipped it over, she painted them, and then she just laid this on her firing paper, which you can do that with the enamels. It'll just have a matte finish. She laid that down and she just went, I think to the minimum 1380 with a 10-minute hold. It won't pull your edges in or anything. And you can kind of see if you need more color somewhere. And that's, I think, what she was trying to do. You know, is it too light? Do I want it darker? She was kind of doing her own thing. But if you're good with it, then just put it on your base glass, but make sure you sift between, because you've got enamel here. This is built up. So now you've got spots that are higher and lower than others, and you're going to get bubbles if you don't sift between. And I always sift around the edge another time and then full fuse it. Okay. Thank you, Curtis. He said I do amazing job on it. It is, I know it's confusing for you guys because we're doing ceramics, we're doing glass, but I'm trying to make sure. That's why I thought tonight, if you had any questions on the decals and how they work, that definitely that would be the time to ask them. Okay. So you've got a decal, you make an image of it on tissue paper. You take that tissue paper over to your bisque and you transfer it, you paint it, glaze it, fire it, and then you come back and you put this in the water, slide it off, and line up your outline so that it's there. So that your outline, of course, this is glass, but your outline lines up with whatever you've painted underneath. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier in understanding. Just trying to read more questions. Does that help, guys? But if you're, you're not a painter, then you don't have to be a painter. You can just, but they are fired product. They are not a non-fired. I've had a lot of people ask, and you have to fire them in a kiln, okay? Because they have this coating. See that coating on the glass? that's going to be there if you don't fire it, and that burns away. That's what holds the pigment on of the decal onto the glass. And I did not fire this one, but see these decals on the butterflies, how they have that yellow cast? That's just the lamination over the top of the color. So when I fire that, that's going to go away. But I wanted to save one of these so that you saw it, you know, fired and unfired, kind of a deal. Can you put them on can? No, Curtis, you can't. That's what I said. Unfortunately, they have like a thin yellow film to them, and you cannot do them. Now, I'm going to look into possibly doing some. I've got to investigate because I've had a ton of people ask. But see, they have a yellow cast to them, so this yellowness burns off. Whether it's a really dark yellow or light, it burns off. But you cannot put them on canvas or wood or anything like that. It has to be put in the kiln. Okay, unfortunately. So like, but I'm saying if you're not a painter, use the colored ones. Oh my gosh, just use those. So like, here's one. Just use that. Or the, you know, the, whoops, I just dropped some circles. Uh, this, the birds, you know, on glass. See, you don't have to paint all that. That's a decal. I painted this design 25 years ago on a ceramic charger platter. It was the center. And now it's on a decal. Okay. So there's all those different ways. But see, you can paint or you could just put the line art. Just like this. If you don't want it, you could paint behind those roses if you wanted, but you don't have to. You can just put them on and be done with it. Okay. So like here's the colored roosters. So you can do those. Or if you want to do the painting, you can do the painting. Does that make sense to everybody? So like here's that poppy that was on the oval platter that I'm going to do in Waukesha. Okay. So there's that decal. So you're not having to do all that outline by yourself. It's already done for you. You just have to paint inside the lines is basically what you're doing on the piece because you're transferring the pattern. And that's what I'm going to teach you at the show. Because sometimes in person it makes more sense. But if you don't want to paint, like this is a glass dish, okay? Just put it cornered instead of straight, something different. It's on green glass, but you could put it on clear. You could paint behind it with colors if you wanted, and then put it on another piece. I would put it on a light colored glass. Okay, so we have a question. Can you use the squeeze bottles and the tips with the tops for the decal glass if you want something a little darker? Now, Peace Love Glass, if you're trying to do color concentrates that way, I would not. It's going to be too much because color concentrates is what she's talking about, like putting the cap and the tip on these bottles. This is a ceramic product. It's not really meant to go on glass, but we use it. So when you start trying to flood it like you do on ceramics, you're applying too much of it, and I'm afraid you're going to have really, really big bubbles. So no, I would not do that. You get with me and I'll explain how to get opaque. I've got several videos out there, but it's probably just you're mixing your color too thin, or it could be the application. So let's go over that. Can you eat on the plate after it's fired? Yes, you can. These are the decal. Great question for someone that does acrylics. Thank you, Curtis. They are food safe. So it doesn't matter whether they're the colored ones or just the line art, but they are food safe. That's a great question. But see how elegant that is? And you didn't have to do anything. So there's like, this is the 8-inch size of this one. So I think there's 4 on a page, and you can get them in different sizes. So a lot of them come 4 and 6s. Okay. Here is another one. You guys have seen me do this on the glass vase that I've done before. So I just took a picture. I always do step outs. So took a picture of it when it was flat and was able to turn it into the decal. Now, where you see it looks like white lines, those are not really white lines. They're lines, but because I put white glass behind them, they look white. Okay. So clay horse pottery, are you using a cheap bag filler tissue because tracing paper will not work. No. Yeah, the cheapest tissue you can find at the dollar store. Cheapest tissue. Thank you, Curtis. This was a fun piece. Like I said, I did this years ago, many years ago on glass. Hand did it. So maybe this will help. Let me do this. So glass, ceramic. Okay, same size decal. This is put on top of white glass. I backed it with a slightly larger piece of blue transparent, and I sifted between, full fused that. This was done on the ceramic. Not much difference in the coloring. The glass is shinier versus this one. It's just a different surface. But so you can do them on either or. So hopefully that helps explain, because a lot of people are like, well, can I use them on this or can I use them on that? Let's see if we've got, hey, Carolyn. Thank you. Explanation really helped. Okay, good. I have to refresh these comments. I'm sorry I didn't catch some of them. What type of tissue paper? So yeah, the cheapest you can get, the better. So you can put the line decal on the ceramic mug, then use CC's. Yeah, Amy, correct. That's what I did. So I don't have my tissue paper, but yes, you would transfer the pattern to the mug, paint it, and then glaze it, fire that, and come back and then put the decal on there. So then you would line that up. This is bigger, of course. Line it up and put it on there. But the cheapest tissue paper, the better. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Got it. It's me, Amy. Oh, okay. Sorry, Amy. Are you on both? Are you on Facebook and YouTube? Switch over to YouTube. The comments weren't coming up on Facebook. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry. It's hard for me to remember everybody's name, business and everything. I have so many of you fabulous people. I just can't keep track of you. Okay. All right. So you understand that you can do on either or, whatever you want to do. So this one was originally, I painted this on a 12 by 12 piece of canvas. It actually has some glitter paint on it, which you can't get in glass or ceramic, but I thought it was cool that we could make it into a decal, and then you guys can use it however you want to use it. Okay. All right. Any other questions? I think that's all the samples that I pulled out. The cup and saucer. You like the cup and saucer, Curtis? Yeah, that dancing daisies. That's a new design. But look at the different choices that are out there on the decals, because especially like the peacock one, it has, you can get, maybe it's easier if I show you from overhead. So take away the glare. So this is the standard sheet that gives you a 6x6, 2 4x4s, and 3 2x2s. And then we came up, somebody said, I'd like that for jewelry, and I want to do some of these on jewelry. I think these would be fabulous. So you've got a couple of different sizes, 2x2s, and then 1.5s, which are a good size for most everybody. So that's a fun thing. So look at those. You can still use that discount, guys. I still have that discount till the end of the month. You can use, I've got it plastered on my Facebook page. What is it, Teresa? Decals 10, and it gets you 10% off of any of the decals. So be sure and look at that if you're interested in those. That would be a great way to save. So, the peacocks would be great on clay too. So Amy, like on your pottery, you could roll out a slab and just apply, leave enough of I would say leave a 1/4 of an inch larger than what the decal is, so that it's going to shrink but still give you maybe an edge to it to frame it. So I think that would be fun. Don't use, the decals are fairly transparent, so don't use a real dark colored glaze underneath or a dark colored piece of glass. You want it white or soft underneath so that it brings out the color of the decal, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay. All right, so let's check Facebook real quick and make sure. Love the dancing daisies. Hi, Anne. How are you? Thank you. It was fun. It was different. It's I use a brush to outline, and for me to do that was absolutely crazy. but I'm trying to get out of my box and do different things. Have you the Sassy Chicks trio in color? Yes, there is a video on it, Susan. Oh, are the decals colored? No, not yet. Okay, so what has happened with that? Um, Melanie sent me some samples to try, but pinks and purples, which I originally did those in, I did them on fabric. Okay, and then we turned these into decals. So now I need to go back and I need to paint it in other colors because pinks and purples are hard to get with the decal system. Okay, it just doesn't want to print those. So I need to have time to go back and paint it on canvas board or something that I can take a snapshot when it's done with acrylics to turn it in. But I will tell you, I have samples of the butterfly, the big bold butterfly, and I will be putting those on glass and ceramic to test them. So those are coming. I'm not sure how soon, but they will be available. The butterfly itself and the whole 6x6 square where you've got the watercolor background with the butterfly on top of it. So it's pretty cool. Are the decals cone 5, cone 6? You're going to put it on as a third fire, Amy. So you're going to fire everything, you're going to color, you're going to glaze, you're going to fire it to cone 5, cone 6, and then you will come back and put the decal. So that's where that shrinkage rate comes in. You've got to figure out what your shrinkage is. So you may need to put the decal after you get it on your printer, enlarge it 12% or whatever your percentage is, and I would just test one. You're going to have to. I do some hand built, but I mainly use Mako's stoneware. So what I need to do is I'll have to see if I've got maybe a scrap piece I can and do it on. But see, their stoneware may shrink at a different rate than your clay body that's stoneware. So you're going to have to figure out what that is. Will you have any Christmas themed one? Yeah, Susan, somebody asked me about that. It's just having time to get everything done. I've got like 19 designs out there right now. So hopefully you guys can run with those for a little bit and I will do my best. I need to go back through my pictures of all the things I've painted over the last 37 years and see if I've got anything. Of course, cameras are better now than they were then. That I can take a picture of and turn it into a decal because that's what happens. But it's better if I do it on with acrylics, a non-fired, and then I turn it in to a colored decal. We're going to get better coloring that way. So, I'm a one-man show, so it takes time to get all that done. But I appreciate your interest. All right. Any other questions? You got it. Like a luster, correct. But you can go. I know Melanie that makes them for me. She has said she's even, and I would not do this until I tested, okay? She has tested them even like at an 06, and I believe she said she went hotter than that. So I want to do that test myself. I want to see it in person before I tell you, hey, go for it. I'm not going to do that to you, okay? But yeah, it's just a third firing, like your gold or your lusters or anything. It would go on in that. Okay. So just enlarge the pattern. I'll try to do some of that before the August show. I'll do my best to get a design done. Any other questions? Or do you want to see anything again? Everybody seems to love the daisies. So I'm going to flip back over here. So everybody's loving this. And it's such a simple design. It could be done in purples. I mean, there's all different ways you can do that. But these are both Mako stoneware that I did these on. I need to do an earthenware piece now so that you can see it on that. But remember that those classes, you can do everything in either stoneware or earthenware except for the hummingbird, which technically I guess you could. I can pour some stoneware, but it'll be soft fired to an 010. It'll be even, well, I could put the stoneware to 04 for you. I'll work all those details out. We don't need to talk about that. And then don't forget tomorrow night at 5 o'clock Eastern time on Jessica's Clayshare website or on the YouTube channel, you can watch this project being done free, and I will get the pattern up on Clayshare where they put the pattern underneath. What about the flowers behind you? What about, let me go back to that, Curtis. The flowers behind me. The ones, it's all backwards. It's a virtual screen, Curtis. This was taken when I used to videotape in another room, and I just took a screenshot of all the stuff I had on my shelf. So the flowers with the lace is acrylic. Oh, that would be a cool. But see, it's a lot of pinks. Those will not work on the decal, and it needs to be a flat thing to really get a good. The dragonflies. Um, yeah, that's a curved piece. Also, let me work. I'll work on some other designs for you. Okay. Shoot me emails on things you like, or like you said, you can leave. I put a poll on the Facebook live. I don't know that you can see the poll. Teresa, were you able to find it, or Anne? Anybody able to see that poll out there? Because I don't see it, but you guys may see it. I'm not sure how this all works. They keep changing things. You don't see the poll. Okay. Oh, well, it was worth a shot. I tried. I tried. Okay, when will the Peacock be back? It is back it should be in stock. I'll check it right after the broadcast, Lynn. They should be in stock. Now, if a lot of confusion on the website, so when it says out of stock on like brushes or something, or even on the decals, it may not mean the whole thing is out of stock. It just may mean one size is out of stock. So click on it, go to that page, and then decide which one you're doing. We can go to the website. Let me find so let's see if it's still connected. Yep. All right. So let me make this large enough that I can see. So you can scroll down here and you can go click on water slide decals. I think I can interactively do this with you. Okay. And then scroll down to whichever. Okay, so it does say out of stock. So let's click on it and see what happens. Assorted sizes. 19 in stock. Jewelry size. I don't know why that says out of stock. That is bizarre. But they are in stock. I'm like, yeah, we've got them. So be sure and go check those out. Okay. Lynn, so it's out there. All right. So that just shows you I can't go back on this, unfortunately. It's an interactive, but I can't go backwards. I can keep going forward on different things. So when you click on the water slide decals, you can scroll down and see all the different ones. And it populates. See the little buttons going across the bottom there? It'll bring up the next set, and then you keep going and it brings it up. So don't think that's the end of it. Keep going all the way down, and then it'll say no more products. Yes, the jewelry 15 in stock. There you go. Yeah. So everything. So the stencil brushes of yours are amazing. Curtis says everybody needs to buy those. Yeah, the stencil brushes are pretty cool. That synthetic nylon is definitely a great brush for doing stencil work. Okay, any other? So we solved the mystery. I'll have to look into see. I'll have to have Teresa help me figure out why that's saying it's out of stock when they're in stock. Oh, I think I know why. Okay, I can go change a setting to that. So, all right. Any other questions? I don't want to stay on here too long. I just wanted to say hi and kind of show you what was going on and answer any of those questions you might have. I don't see any other questions popping up. So send me an email. You can send me messages, what you'd like to see in the future, or you can comment. Definitely on Facebook, I can go back and answer those. I can't really answer any, well, I can. I can answer it as a separate comment on YouTube. You are welcome, Susan. Thanks for joining me tonight. All right, you guys, I will try to be on next week. Like I said, life gets in the way. You're welcome, Angela. Thanks for joining. And I'll try to get some of the other little videos on some of these ceramic pieces where I've painted them and then put those up as freebies for you on YouTube. Okay. All right. You guys have a great evening, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining.